Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Do you ever feel like you're stuck in a rut? Like you're putting in all this effort, but nothing seems to be moving forward? You wake up each day working hard, but the results don't reflect the effort you've put in. Well, I want to tell you today that you're likely growing faster than you think. But the key is, sometimes growth is subtle. It doesn't always announce itself with fireworks and fanfare. Growth often sneaks up on you quietly, building like a strong current, until one day you realize you're no longer where you used to be. So let's dive into the 7 signs you're growing faster than you think, and by the end of this, you might just recognize that growth is happening in ways you never even imagined. Growth, my friends, is never a comfortable process. In fact, it's often the very discomfort that marks your progress. But so many people make the mistake of thinking growth should be smooth sailing, when in reality, it's the tough moments, the uneasy times, that serve as the foundation for all real progress. Take a moment and reflect on the last time you felt truly uncomfortable. Maybe it was the first time you spoke in front of a crowd. Your heart raced, your palms were sweaty, and every fiber in your body screamed to avoid it. Or maybe it was taking on a new challenge that seemed way beyond your skill set, something that pushed you to your absolute limits. Was it easy? Absolutely not. But that's the point. Growth is not about staying in the comfortable, familiar space. It's about stretching yourself into new territories, even when it feels daunting. You see, when you're growing, you're constantly challenging yourself. You're doing things you never imagined you would do. You're testing your limits. Think about it. When you push yourself past those boundaries, something incredible starts to happen. You begin to see discomfort not as something to fear, but as a signal that you're on the right path. Discomfort becomes an opportunity, not an obstacle. And the more you embrace it, the more your growth accelerates. Remember, it's easy to stay where things are predictable and safe. But comfort doesn't create breakthroughs. Comfort doesn't lead to innovation or growth. Think about the times you've made the most progress in your life. I'll bet it was in the moments you stepped out of your comfort zone, whether that was speaking up when you used to stay quiet or tackling a project that seemed out of your reach. Consider someone like Steve Jobs. Jobs was not a man who stayed within the safe confines of what was familiar. No, he built Apple by constantly stepping into discomfort. It wasn't easy. There were times when he faced rejection, setbacks, and downright failure. He was even kicked out of the very company he founded. But instead of shrinking back, instead of taking that discomfort as a sign to quit, he used it as fuel to create something even bigger, even more groundbreaking. He didn't retreat into his comfort zone. He leaned into that discomfort and emerged with a vision that changed the world. Think about it. How many times in your life have you been faced with a challenge and your first instinct was to shy away from it? How many opportunities have you passed up because it felt easier to avoid the pain, the struggle, the fear? If you're not feeling that discomfort in your life right now, it's time to take a hard look at your current situation. Because if you're not stretching, you're stagnating. I'm telling you this because I know that discomfort is not a sign of failure. It's the very thing that tells you growth is happening. Every time you feel that knot in your stomach, every time you want to turn around and run away, you are on the verge of breaking through to something bigger. That uncomfortable feeling, that's your sign that you're expanding, that you're pushing yourself, that you're moving toward a version of yourself that is better, stronger, and more capable than ever before. So let me ask you, when was the last time you embraced discomfort instead of running from it? When was the last time you did something that scared you, that pushed you past your limits? If you can't remember, then it's time to go after it. Step out of your comfort zone. Do the thing that makes you uncomfortable and watch what happens. Because when you step into that discomfort, you step into the next phase of your growth. It's not easy, but it's the only way to get to where you truly want to go. So if you're feeling discomfort right now, don't resist it. Embrace it. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. It's the sign that you are stretching, you are evolving, and you are growing faster than you might even realize. Welcome the discomfort, because it's the very thing that will take you further than you ever dreamed. Growth begins in the mind. When you start thinking bigger, that's when you know you're on the path to something extraordinary. Up until that point, many of us are limited by our own small thinking. We see the world around us and think this is how things are and this is how they will always be. But growth is the process of breaking free from that narrow view and expanding your perspective. It's when you stop seeing the world as it is and begin seeing it as it could be. You start asking yourself bigger questions like, what's next? What's the next level? What's the next big leap I can make? Think back to the times when you were limited by small thinking. Maybe you thought a certain job or a certain lifestyle was the best you could hope for. Maybe you convinced yourself that the dreams you had were too big, too unrealistic. But when you start growing, your thinking shifts. You no longer say, I hope this happens. Instead, you say, I know this is going to happen. It's only a matter of time. You stop settling for what's safe, for what's already been done, and you begin to look beyond what is in front of you to what could be. That's the power of thinking bigger. It shifts your entire mindset. Instead of seeing your current situation as the ceiling, you start seeing it as the floor. You look at the challenges and say, this is just the beginning. There's so much more to come. The more you think bigger, the more you realize that your dreams aren't restricted by the limitations of today. Your dreams are only limited by your imagination and your willingness to pursue them. Elon Musk is a perfect example of someone who thought bigger. Elon Musk didn't just set out to make a successful electric car. That wasn't enough for him. He didn't stop there. He saw the entire future of energy, saw space exploration, and he saw the intersection of technology and sustainability. When others doubted him, when they said it couldn't be done, Musk kept asking himself, what's the next level? And with each new leap he took, he expanded his vision even further. SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, the Boring Company. Each one of these ventures represents Musk's refusal to limit his thinking, his refusal to settle for the status quo. What about you? When was the last time you thought bigger than your current circumstances? When was the last time you pushed your dreams beyond the limits of your present reality? If your goals are still based on what you think is possible right now, then you're not thinking big enough. Growth is about seeing possibilities where others see limitations. It's about seeing potential where others see obstacles. When you think bigger, you're also letting go of the belief that success is a one-time event. It's not about getting that one promotion or winning that one award. It's about scaling up, continuously improving, and looking for ways to go beyond what's comfortable. Your dreams evolve, your goals expand, and what once seemed like a distant goal becomes a reality within your reach. You know your thinking is growing when your aspirations no longer seem confined to your current situation. When you start seeing your life as a journey of continuous expansion, when you realize that every step you take is opening the door to a new level, then you're thinking bigger. The next time you catch yourself thinking small, ask yourself, what would I do if I weren't afraid to dream big? What's the next step I can take to push my vision even further? It's about recognizing that you have the potential to create something far greater than what you see in front of you right now. Your growth is not defined by your current circumstances, but by your ability to dream beyond them. So start thinking bigger. Look beyond today, beyond tomorrow, and ask yourself, what's next? How can I take it to the next level? The answers you find will propel you into a future you once thought was out of reach, but is now completely within your grasp. When you're growing, something amazing begins to happen. The world around you starts to change. It's as if the universe is recognizing your efforts, your commitment to bettering yourself, and it begins to open doors for you in ways you never expected. These aren't just ordinary opportunities. They are the kinds of opportunities that seem to come from nowhere, that almost feel like they've been waiting for you to reach a certain point. Suddenly, you find yourself in the right place at the right time, and you're offered chances to do more, to be more, and to create more than you ever imagined. Growth isn't just about internal change. It doesn't just impact how you feel or think about yourself. It alters the way the world perceives you. People begin to see your value, your dedication, and your potential. As a result, they begin to offer you opportunities. You're no longer chasing them, they come to you. It's like you've unlocked a new level in the game of life, and now the rewards are starting to show up in unexpected places. Let me tell you something, when you start growing, the world around you takes notice. You might not realize it at first, but people are watching. They see the effort you're putting in. They see your attitude, your persistence, and your willingness to push through challenges. And because of that, they start to open doors for you. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach begin to appear. And the best part is you didn't even have to ask for them. They come because the energy you're putting out into the world is aligned with the energy that attracts those opportunities. It's almost as if you're magnetizing the right circumstances into your life. Take Oprah Winfrey, for example. Oprah didn't wait for life to give her a handout. She didn't sit back and hope that opportunities would just show up. No, she was constantly growing. She was learning, evolving, and putting herself in a position to receive. She kept pushing forward even when things were tough, and because of that, she attracted incredible opportunities. Look at her career, look at what she built. She didn't just stumble into it. She created her path through hard work, personal growth, and a belief that something greater was waiting for her. Oprah's success didn't happen overnight. It happened because she kept showing up day after day, embracing the growth process. She didn't just wait for the world to give her a chance. She created the space for opportunities to find her. And that's what happens when you commit to your own growth. Opportunities find you when you least expect them. When you're on the path of growth, you start to notice a shift in the people who come into your life. The right people begin to show up. You meet people who align with your goals, who see your potential, and who offer you the exact help, guidance, or connections you need. You might find a mentor who sees something in you that you hadn't even seen in yourself. Or perhaps someone offers you a job, a partnership, or a business opportunity that you didn't even know was possible. It's not coincidence. It's a direct result of your growth. Think about the times in your own life when opportunities to suddenly appear out of nowhere. Reflect on the moments when you received an offer or an invitation that you weren't expecting. Those weren't random events. They were the natural consequence of your growth. As you evolve and continue to push yourself, the world starts to recognize the effort you're putting in, and it rewards you in ways you couldn't have planned for. If you've been feeling like things are starting to fall into place, like doors that were once closed to you are suddenly opening, I want you to realize that this is not by accident. This is the universe responding to your growth. You've been putting in the work, you've been making progress, and now the opportunities you've been working for are beginning to make their way toward you. So if you're starting to notice that people are offering you chances you didn't ask for, if you're beginning to see doors swing wide open for you, that's a clear sign that you're growing faster than you think. The world is responding to the changes you're making within yourself. You're no longer waiting for the right opportunity. The right opportunities are finding you. Keep growing. Keep moving forward. Because as you do, the opportunities will keep coming, and they'll be bigger and more aligned with your purpose than you ever imagined. Resilience, my friends, is the key to achieving anything worthwhile in life. It's the ability to keep going when things don't go as planned, to rise again when you've been knocked down, to keep moving forward when the road gets tough. And let's be honest, setbacks are a part of the journey. We all face them. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from, setbacks are inevitable. What matters is how you respond to them. When you're growing, setbacks don't break you, they shape you. They don't define your future, they refine it. Every time you encounter a challenge, every time you face adversity, you have two choices. You can let it defeat you, or you can use it as a stepping stone to something greater. The most successful people, the ones who leave a lasting impact, are not the ones who've had smooth, easy paths. No, they're the ones who face setbacks head on, learned from them, and kept moving forward. Think about the challenges you've faced in your own life. How many times have you felt knocked down? How many times have you encountered situations where everything seemed to be going wrong? At those moments, it's easy to feel like giving up. It's easy to feel like the world is against you, that your dreams are slipping away. But here's the truth. Setbacks are not the end. They are just the beginning. The key is to change how you see those challenges. You see, when you're growing, you start to understand that challenges are not obstacles, they are opportunities for growth. They are the very things that push you to become better, stronger, and more resilient. You start to see the lessons in every failure, the opportunities in every setback. Each setback becomes a valuable lesson, a chance to learn, adjust, and move forward with greater wisdom. Take Thomas Edison, for example. Most people know him for inventing the light bulb, but how many know that he failed thousands of times before he succeeded? Thousands. Yet each failure didn't break him. Each one made him more resilient. He didn't see his failures as an indication that he wasn't cut out for success. He saw them as steps on the way to discovering what would work. And because of his resilience, he ultimately changed the world. Edison didn't give up when his experiments failed. He didn't throw in the towel when people laughed at his ideas. Instead, he learned from each failure, built on each lesson, and kept moving forward with a renewed sense of purpose. He didn't see failure as an enemy. He saw it as a teacher. Now think about your own setbacks. How have you responded to them? Have you let them stop you in your tracks, or have you used them to fuel your journey? If you're like most people, it's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to feel like you're not making progress when you face a challenge. But here's the thing, resilience is what sets apart the winners from the rest of the crowd. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about getting back up, learning from it, and coming back stronger. The moment you start seeing failure as a teacher rather than an enemy, that's when your growth begins to accelerate. It's when you realize that the setbacks aren't there to stop you, they're there to teach you, to refine you, to help you become the person you need to be to achieve your dreams. I want you to think about the last time you faced a major setback. How did you respond? Did you give up? Or did you find a way to bounce back? If you got back up and tried again, you've already proven that you are capable of resilience. If you keep going, keep learning, and keep growing, you will continue to build that resilience muscle. And one day you'll look back and realize that those setbacks, those challenges were the very things that made you who you are today. So the next time you face a setback, don't fear it. Don't shy away from it. Embrace it. See it as an opportunity to grow, to become more resilient, and to continue on your path toward success. Because the more resilient you become, the more unstoppable you'll be. As you grow, something fascinating begins to happen. The people around you start changing. It's subtle at first, but over time you begin to notice that the relationships you've had for years start to feel different. Some may even fade away, while new ones begin to blossom, relationships that feel more aligned with who you are becoming. And it's not just a coincidence. No, there's a very real reason for this shift. As you grow, you begin to radiate a different energy, and that energy attracts a different kind of person into your life. Think about it for a moment. When you're stuck in a rut, when you're not growing or challenging yourself, the people around you tend to reflect that. You surround yourself with individuals who are comfortable, people who may not push you to be better, but rather keep you stuck in the same place. But once you start growing, once you begin to stretch and develop into a better version of yourself, your energy shifts. And as your energy changes, so does your circle of influence. You'll begin to attract people who are aligned with your journey, people who are also committed to growth, people who challenge you to do more and be more. They don't pull you down. Instead, they lift you up. These are the kinds of people who help you move forward, who inspire you to reach higher, to aim further. When you grow, you stop settling for relationships that hold you back. Instead, you start to attract people who fuel your ambition and challenge you to expand your horizons. This is something you can see in the lives of successful people everywhere. Take someone like Jim Carrey, for instance. Early in his career, Jim Carrey faced doubt and ridicule from many of the people around him. He was told that his dream of becoming a successful actor was unrealistic. He didn't come from money, he didn't have the right connections, and many people in his life didn't believe in him. But as he grew mentally, emotionally, and professionally, he began to believe in himself. He began to understand that his dreams weren't only possible, they were inevitable. And as his belief in himself grew, so did the people around him. Jim Carrey's circle of influence changed. The people who doubted him began to fade away, and in their place, he attracted people who believed in his potential. He surrounded himself with individuals who were equally committed to greatness, people who didn't just support his dreams, but helped him elevate to the next level. It wasn't just about who he knew, it was about how he changed his growth, attracted people who helped him rise higher than he ever thought possible. And that's the beauty of growth. It's magnetic. The more you grow, the more you will naturally attract people who elevate you. These are the people who challenge you, inspire you, and hold you accountable. They see the potential in you that you might not even see in yourself yet, and they push you to tap into it. They don't let you settle for mediocrity. They push you to become the best version of yourself. If you've started to notice that the people around you are changing, if you're finding that the relationships in your life are shifting toward people who inspire and challenge you, then you're on the right track. You're growing faster than you think. These new relationships are a sign that you're moving in the right direction, that your growth is opening doors to new connections and new opportunities. You're attracting the kind of people who will help you go further than you ever imagined. So take a moment and reflect on your own circle. Are the people around you lifting you up or holding you back? Are you surrounding yourself with individuals who challenge you, who make you think bigger, who believe in your dreams? If not, it might be time to step up your growth game. When you grow, your energy shifts, and the right people will naturally start to show up. They'll find you because they recognize that you're on a path to something great. Remember, growth is not just about what you accomplish, it's about who you become along the way. And as you become a better version of yourself, you will naturally begin to attract people who support and elevate that growth. Keep pushing forward because the right people are waiting for you to show up. And when you do, they'll be there to help you rise to new heights. Growth is not always about taking giant leaps forward. More often than not, it's about a series of small wins that, over time, accumulate and build momentum. You may not see it right away. You may not feel like you're moving as fast as you'd like. But if you pay attention, you'll realize that those small steps you're taking are actually adding up to something much bigger. It's easy to get discouraged when you're focused on the end goal and forget to celebrate the small victories along the way. But it's those very small wins that are the building blocks of the larger transformation you're seeking. The beauty of small wins is that they often go unnoticed at first. You might have just completed a small task, had a productive conversation, or solved a problem that once felt impossible. At the time, it may seem insignificant, but here's the truth. Every time you take a small step, you're moving closer to your bigger vision, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. These small victories are like breadcrumbs leading you toward the person you're becoming, the life you're building. They're proof that you're on the right track, even when you can't yet see the full picture. Think about it like this. Let's say you're on a weight loss journey. The first workout may not show you an immediate change. The first healthy meal may not change the scale dramatically. But here's what happens when you continue to show up, when you keep putting in the effort, something starts to shift. After a few weeks, you look in the mirror and see a version of yourself that you didn't see before. The small wins, those consistent workouts, those small dietary changes, they begin to accumulate, and eventually they lead to a transformation that feels huge. At the beginning, you might not notice much change, but after some time, you realize how far you've come. That's how growth works. The same applies to any area of your life. Maybe you're building a business, developing a new skill, or working on a personal goal. At first, the progress can seem slow, even frustrating. You might think, this isn't working. I'm not getting the results I want. But the small wins you experience every day are still progress. The conversations you're having, the ideas you're brainstorming, the skills you're refining, they're all taking you one step closer to your ultimate goal. One of the challenges people face when they're growing is that they don't always see the progress they're making. They think that growth should be immediate, that it should happen in one giant leap. But real growth is built on the foundation of consistent, smaller actions. It's the daily effort that compounds over time. So if you're noticing small wins accumulating, take a moment to acknowledge them. These little victories are the signs that you're moving forward. And more importantly, they're the proof that you're growing faster than you think. Think about the times you felt frustrated with your progress when the big goal seemed too far out of reach. Those moments are normal, but they don't mean you're not progressing. In fact, they're often a sign that you're right where you need to be. Growth doesn't always come with instant rewards. It doesn't always come in the form of a breakthrough. Sometimes, growth shows up quietly, in the small wins that slowly build your confidence, sharpen your skills, and bring you closer to your dreams. It's easy to overlook these small victories, especially when you're focused on the end goal. But take a moment to reflect. What small wins have you experienced recently? What progress, no matter how small, have you made toward your goal? Maybe you learned something new. Maybe you faced a fear, made a tough decision, or accomplished a task that moved you one step closer to where you want to be. Those small moments matter more than you think. They're not insignificant. They are the very momentum you need to keep pushing forward. Remember, the journey to big changes is made up of small steps. And if you're noticing small wins accumulating, rest assured you're growing faster than you think. Every small win is a building block of something much bigger. Every little victory is a sign that you are on your way. Keep going, keep showing up, and keep celebrating those small wins. They're leading you to a transformation you'll be proud of. As you grow, one of the most powerful shifts you'll notice is in your own confidence. It's the kind of confidence that comes from deep within. It's not about putting on a facade or pretending to be someone you're not. No, it's the confidence that arises when you finally feel comfortable in your own skin. The doubts, the insecurities, the questioning that once held you back begin to fade away. You no longer second guess yourself as often. Instead, you trust yourself. You trust your abilities. You trust your purpose. You know that no matter what challenges come your way, you are capable of handling them. This shift in confidence isn't about arrogance. It's not about walking into a room and thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about understanding your worth, knowing that you are enough, just as you are. It's about realizing that you have the tools, the talents, and the resilience to navigate the obstacles life throws at you. And more importantly, it's about believing that the journey you're on is worth it, and that you are capable of accomplishing great things. Think about athletes or performers for a moment. When they speak about being in their flow state, they describe a moment where everything just clicks. It's that moment when they are fully in tune with their skills, their abilities, and the task at hand. It's the moment when they feel invincible, almost as if they could do anything. But here's the thing. That flow state doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of years of hard work, discipline, and dedication. It's the result of growth, both internal and external. Those athletes and performers didn't wake up one day feeling this level of confidence. No, they earned it through practice, struggle, and persistence. In the same way, your own confidence is built over time. It's the product of countless small victories, moments of overcoming doubt, and learning to trust in yourself even when the path ahead seems unclear. Confidence comes from showing up day after day, even when it's hard, even when you feel uncertain. It's not something you acquire in one instant. It's something you build step by step. And when you reach that point where you're no longer paralyzed by fear or hesitation, that's when you know you're truly growing. Confidence is the feeling of being grounded in who you are. It's a deep knowing that no matter what comes your way, you have the strength and the resources to handle it. It's when you stop looking for external validation and start looking within for the answers. You begin to trust your instincts, your gut, your intuition. You start to feel more certain of your decisions, even when the world around you is uncertain. You stop second guessing your choices because you've learned to trust your process, your growth, and yourself. Take a moment to think back to the last time you felt self-doubt creeping in. Maybe it was before you took on a new challenge or before you made a tough decision. What were you telling yourself at that time? Were you unsure if you were good enough? Did you question whether you were ready? Now think about where you are today. How have you grown? How much stronger, wiser, and more capable are you now compared to that moment of doubt? The truth is, every time you step into discomfort, every time you face fear head-on and keep moving forward, you build more trust in yourself. And with that trust comes confidence. The more you'll find that the doubts and insecurities that once held you back begin to lose their power. You won't eliminate them completely, but they will no longer control you. Instead, you'll learn to quiet them and rely more on your inner strength. And as you keep growing, that confidence will continue to build. You'll start feeling more grounded in who you are, more sure of your direction, and more at peace with the person you're becoming. When you start trusting your instincts, when you feel more sure of who you are and what you're capable of, it's not just growth, it's evolution. You're stepping into a new version of yourself, one who is more powerful, more resilient, and more confident. And when you reach that place, you'll realize that the real work wasn't just about achieving your goals. It was about becoming the kind of person who could achieve them with grace and confidence. That's the true essence of growth. It's the ability to stand tall, knowing that you have everything you need within you to succeed. And when you get there, there's nothing that can stop you. So let's take a moment to reflect. Growth is not always the big, loud, dramatic event we imagine it to be. It's not always marked by a massive breakthrough or public display of achievement. In fact, growth often comes quietly in the subtle changes we notice over time. But if you find yourself feeling discomfort, thinking bigger, attracting new opportunities, building resilience, surrounding yourself with a more empowering crowd, noticing the small wins that add up to something meaningful, and growing in confidence, then trust me when I say this, you are growing faster than you think. You see, growth is not a destination, it's a process. And this process is ongoing, continuous, and ever evolving. Every time you embrace discomfort, you step outside of your comfort zone and start to push your boundaries. That's growth in action. Every time you expand your thinking, you elevate your goals and begin to see what's possible beyond the limits you once set for yourself. That's growth. And when new opportunities seem to find you, doors opening that you didn't even know existed, that's a sign that you are moving in the right direction. Growth doesn't just change you internally. It changes how the world sees you. It changes the way you perceive possibilities. And don't forget resilience. The challenges, the setbacks, the moments when you felt like giving up, those are the moments that shape you. They make you stronger. They teach you lessons you wouldn't have learned any other way. And if you found yourself bouncing back quicker, recovering faster, and showing up stronger after every setback, then you are building resilience, and resilience is the foundation of true growth. As you grow, you start attracting a different kind of person into your life too. People who inspire you, challenge you, and push you to be better. Your circle shifts as you evolve into someone who aligns with a higher vision, one that attracts individuals who elevate you, not hold you back. And that's a beautiful part of growth, surrounding yourself with people who help you rise. Sometimes the journey can feel slow, like you're not making progress. But the truth is, every small win is a building block. Every single day that you put in the effort, every time you take that small step forward, it's adding up. You may not see it immediately, but over time, those small wins turn into something much larger. They lead to the transformation you've been working toward all along. And finally, that feeling of confidence that starts to grow within you, that's one of the clearest signs that you're evolving. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's the quiet strength that comes from trusting yourself. It's the ability to stand firm in who you are and believe that you can handle whatever comes your way. It's knowing deep down that you are capable of achieving what you set your mind to. When you start to notice these signs, discomfort, bigger thinking, new opportunities, resilience, a powerful circle, small wins, and growing confidence, don't ignore them. Don't let doubt creep in and convince you that you're not making progress. These are the signals that you are in the process of transformation. And this growth is just the beginning. It's the foundation for everything you will become, everything you will achieve, and everything you will inspire others to do. So what do you do with all this? You keep moving forward. You keep embracing the discomfort, because that's where the real magic happens. You keep thinking bigger, because your vision is meant to expand far beyond what you see today. You keep believing in yourself and trusting that every step you take is part of the path to something greater, because you are not just growing, you're transforming. And when you look back one day, you'll see it. You'll see how all of the challenges, the hard work, the sacrifices, the moments of doubt, and the persistence have led you to this point. You'll realize that the person you are today is only the beginning. And where you're going next, the heights you're going to reach, will be greater than you ever imagined. So stay hungry for more. Stay humble, knowing that growth is a journey, not a destination. Keep growing, because the best version of you is yet to come. Thank you.